Hello, everybody. My guest today is Stefan Fountain. He is the only known startup founder to have been successfully sued by David Hasselhoff. That's right. His current company, PR.co, automates and fixes PR for global brands and their agencies. Currently serving 280 companies with content management tools and research automation across geographies, media channels, and company functions. Stefan, are you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah, man.
All right. Why did David Hasselhoff sue you?
So a little of a caveat here is that we got a cease and desist letter, but to put that on a business card or in a bio is too long. We're using an image of David Hasselhoff in his underpants as our company logo. And it took 2 years, and then somebody told his agent or his lawyer or someone about it, and then we got this letter. So we tried to actually negotiate with the Hoff to see if he could come on board, for equity, and we could use his brand. And that didn't go anywhere. So in the end, we just removed David Hasselhoff in his underpants from our website.
That's funny. Okay, what's the company do and how do you make money?
So PR.co is a SaaS B2B business for bigger brands that have multiple locations and that need brand consistency across different channels. And often, you'd be surprised that a lot of PR professionals still use Word and Outlook to send press releases with images embedded into the Word document. So it's kind of tricky, I think there's less and less of it now. But basically, we're moving all that PR workflow into the cloud and just making it more efficient. And it's cool to see our customers really love that.
And I mean, give me a general sense of the size of customers you're working with. What are they paying you per month on average?
So I think so we used to have really small companies, startups. So our numbers are a bit skewed. So we'd have, 50 MRR accounts. And now recently we just signed Heineken, and we have Sonos and Shimano as a customer, TaylorMade Golf. And those ACVs are 20K plus.
Per month or per year?
Per year, ACV, okay. Annual.
And would you consider that being an average across your current customer base, or is your average maybe closer to 1K or 10K or 5K or what?
Yeah, it's much more around, the average is probably around 1K. And so I think our ARPU's gone up in the last year from 48 to over 100. And that's just because we've churned a lot of the smaller customers
$100 per month. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that we're making more money off of less customers, which, it's a healthy phase for us as a company to really know who's our customer, because we didn't know that for years. We're like, is the agency our customer? Is the brand our customer? Are these smaller startups? And now we're starting to find, who really are the people that are best served by our tool.
Mm-hmm. And how many customers have you scaled to today?
It's 287.
287. Okay, good. Down to the decimal. That's good. So if
287,1.
Yeah, that's
we
good.
Have a new department of Heineken just signed up today, so that's nice.
So if I take 287 times $1,000 ACV, that's about $83 per customer per month. You're doing what, about 24 grand per month in MRR, something like that?
That's pretty close.
Okay.
It's a bit higher. And then we have some one-time setup fees, and that also sort of helps. And a lot of the customers pay yearly upfront. So that really helps in terms of being cash flow positive, which we are.
Are you bootstrapped?
No, there's a question for later, right? We raised $400K from industry experts and a local VC. And with that money, we're able to scale our sales and marketing. And now we've got to an acquisition versus LTV ratio of over 3, 1 on 3. So it's really cool to see that we're finding our scalable sales process from that. And we've reached cash flow profitability, and keen to see where this path leads before we go out to raise an A round.
Yep. Now, give me a sense of growth. So if you're doing around 20 grand a month today, where were you at 13 months ago in December of 2016?
Oh, I don't have that number. I know that we grew 67% over the whole year to 2017 compared to 2016. So
you're doing about 16 grand 13 months ago a month.
I think a bit less than that.
Okay.
So
Fair enough. Good. So, but still healthy growth, 15 grand, we'll call it 14, 15 grand a month, 13 months ago, up to 23-ish or 20-ish today. That's still healthy growth. Tell us more of your backstory here. When did you launch the company? What year?
Yeah, there's a bit more complex backstory than that, because we started as a side project of an existing company, the Next Web blog. You might know them. They have the biggest sort of tech conference in Amsterdam as well. And there's really just a bunch of guys building this product, because this group of journalists was getting all these shitty pitches from startups, and they're like, this is so inefficient. Can't we make this an online tool where it's easy to copy paste these startups pitches coming in? And from that, this grew into a real enterprise level product where we kept adding features, and we still had these smaller startups. And, we've seen that.
So Stefan, what was year one?
Year one of the project itself was 2009. And then there's about 4 years of a couple guys as a side project working on it for a few months on and off. And then in 2013, it really started that we rebranded it to PR.co. Mm-hmm. And then the next 2 years, we're trying to make this thing work for small startups. And then we realized, and then we switched to agencies. We also realized that that's not really the end customer. The end customer is the PR professional whose work is inefficient. So then we realized that it's really the bigger brands working across boundaries, borders, many different media channels, often using agencies in different countries. And there's a much bigger pain point there to solve.
So Stefan, what are you at today in terms of team size?
7
people. And where are you guys all based?
All in Amsterdam.
Everybody?
Yeah, all of us.
That's great. Okay, and you mentioned earlier some healthy economics. What are you right now paying to acquire customers, and where are you finding these customers?
Yeah, good question. So most of our customers are word of mouth from existing customers, which sounds good, and is good. It's nice that that's happening, because if that wasn't happening, you haven't reached product market fit yet. But we've got there. Now we're in the stage where we're really trying to figure out this repeatable, scalable sales process. So we're seeing a lot of leads come in through inbound. And what we're really trying to focus on now in CRAC is how to get outbound leads. So we've done some tests with paid, which hasn't really worked for us.
What was your CAC when you ran those tests?
Oh, good question. I don't know that number.
Okay. Well, you mentioned earlier you cited a CAC to LTV ratio, so you're anchoring in some CAC number. What CAC number is your ratio anchored in?
So it's 1.32. It's one. What's the word I'm looking for? Colon? Is it semicolon divided by? Whatever. It's the ratio is 3.32. That's the current ratio over the average of the last 4 months.
The ratio of what?
So the CAC versus LTV.
Okay, again, you can't get that ratio without knowing what CAC is. So what is the CAC that's feeding that ratio?
So the way we look at it is the total revenue we're getting from new revenue, so new bookings, and then we compare that. So that's I don't know, bro. It's late. I've had a long day, and I'm probably not getting the ratios right.
That's okay. Let me go down a different line of questioning here. What's your churn rate look like?
Yeah, so that's interesting. So also here we have to divide the different types of customers we've got. We've got the churners on the low end of the scale, so under 50 MRR. Our churn rate's about 10%.
Monthly,
yeah. And if we look at the and this is also by design. We don't really want those customers anymore, and so we've been pushing them up the scale. So we're getting them to get on a new pricing level. So a lot of them are like,
yeah, but Stefan, you can measure churn two ways: logo churn and revenue churn, right? Revenue churn is better to use if you have kind of higher paying clients that you're doing a good job retaining. So what's your revenue churn look like each month?
Yeah, so this is the good news. It's net negative. So we're actually getting more from the existing customers than the smaller customers that are leaving.
Got it. So you're expanding revenue from your current base more than any lost revenue from smaller customers each month.
Yes, exactly.
And how negative is it?
It's about 3%.
Okay. All right. But your logo churn is obviously significantly worse than that because you're churning lower price point customers, and that's about 10% per month, you said, right?
Yeah, bingo.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. That's good. What percent of you, do you have 2 or 3 customers that make up more than 40 or 50% of your revenue?
No,
You don't.
no.
Okay. And the reason I ask is it just sounds like there's a lot of lopsidedness. If you can have 10% logo churn and have negative net revenue churn, it's usually signifies you have a few customers that you're adding, you're doing a good job upselling.
Yeah, so that's exactly it. So if we look at the top tier, let's say 10 customers, it's probably the top 30% of our MRR, maybe a bit higher than that.
So your top 10 most valuable customers are making up about 30% of your total MRR, or about 7 or 8K per month.
Yeah, plus it's growing, which is nice. And so, and that's also the segment we've been focusing on. So we're having less customers of higher quality delivering more MRR.
Yep. And you said you're cash flow positive now?
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you testing paid spend, or are you testing it at all?
No, not right now. Yeah, we stopped. We did it early last year for 3 months, and we realized that we really didn't have the expertise to do that. I mean, you read all these blogs, right? And you're like, oh, it's got to be easy.
How much did you test with?
So I think we spent about maybe 12K up to 15K on different sources. Most of that was AdWords. Some of it various different channels. To really get it right. I mean, I don't think the space was that competitive. I just don't think that we had the right execution on our end. And so then at that point, it's like, okay, we're just going to focus on outbound for a while and converting the inbound leads that we're getting, instead of creating new leads that we then, would have to be sifting through bad quality leads.
Mm-hmm. Are you stoked about this business and to work on it for the next 5 or 10 years? Or if someone gave you an offer in the range of, $400,000 or $500,000 to buy it, would you sell?
Not in that range. No, it'd have to be 10x that range.
10x that. Come on, Stefan. That would be pure insanity. You're what you just said is it'd have to be 10x a $400,000 offer, meaning you'd want $4 million for a company doing $300,000 a month a year right now in revenue. That's insanity.
No, hold on. You're anchoring this question outside of your previous question. The question say, hey, are you excited about this industry? I mean, and then you're giving a time frame of 5 years. There's something wrong in the PR world, and the truth is it has a PR problem, and rightly so. And so our mission is to really try and fix that. Mm-hmm. If you look at news publishing, it's so full with reprinted press releases and speed to market over truth, and what we call journalism. It's no longer about the truth. And what we'd like to do is we're on a mission to help companies be able to create awesome stories that really deliver truth and build their brand. And that's really the mission on the long term.
Yeah, but Stefan, isn't the market talking to you? You started fiddling around with this in 2009. You did it as a side project with some buddies for 4 years and officially launched in 2013. Okay, 4 years later, you're still doing about $20,000 a month in revenue, right? So the market's telling you something.
No, I joined 3 years ago.
Okay, even 3 years ago, it's taken you 3 years to get up to $20,000 a month in revenue. The market's telling you it's not a big problem.
30,000 a month in euros, but still, yeah, it's peanuts. I agree. But no, the market is telling us it's a big problem.
You don't have the sales.
Not yet.
Why? If it was a big problem, you'd have way more.
Oh. I think that the main issue is that we've just been a bunch of engineers trying to build this product in our back room, and only this year we've been going out to sell, and we grew 70%. Now we're figuring out how to do this scalable, and and that's starting to work. So I disagree. I mean, I think
but 70%, Stefan, 70% year-over-year growth when you're talking about numbers this small is not that interesting. Like, I mean, it's going from $1 to $2 in MRR is 100% growth, right? Which is really, really easy. I mean, a company at your size should be like doubling or tripling. There are bootstrap companies tripling year over year as a good indicator of a real problem they're solving. All right, let's wrap up, Stefan, here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Can I only say one?
Yeah, pick one.
Okay, Tribal Leadership, David Logan.
Tribal Leadership. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
Not a CEO, David Skok from For Entrepreneurs blog.
Number 3, besides your own, what's your favorite online tool?
Rain FM.
Rain FM, that's a good one. Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I have a baby, so right now it's 3 hours of sleep.
3, my gosh. Okay, so and situation, you're married with 1 kid, right?
2 kids now.
2 kids, and how old are you?
I'm 37.
37.
My kids are 5 and 8 months, and it's the 8-month-old that's sort of the the sleep problem.
All right, last question. Take us back 17 years. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
I would say think big, but act small. And I think the thinking big was always there. Believing in that you can do stuff. And I think the act small of figuring out how to perform and execute on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis.
Think big, act small. There you guys have it from Stefan Fountain. Launched the company seriously in 2013, fiddled around with it all the way back to 2009. Today, they're up to 7 people looking to fix PR, all based in Amsterdam. They've got about 287 paying customers that pay them a total of about 22-ish grand per month. That's up 70% year over year from 15 grand a month in December of 2016. Again, net negative revenue churn, which is a good sign. Let's see if they can scale. Stefan, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you very much, bro.